McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal. Ooh. With your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Available now in a biome near you. Oh, and at your local McDonald's. I participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.
At State Farm, we're committed to uplifting Black futures. In collaboration with organizations like 100 Black Men and National Urban League, State Farm provides high school students with the opportunity to learn and apply best practice strategies for saving and investing, all while offering academic support, life skills, and exposure to college access programs to prepare these students for life after high school. Check out 100blackmen.org and nul.org to donate and learn more. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy David with Black Wealth Renaissance, and I'm here today to tell you guys about Anchor. If you haven't heard of Anchor, it's the best place to make a podcast. Anchor is a free app that has creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast straight from your phone. Anchor also distributes your podcast across all major platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many others. You can also make money on your podcast with Anchor with no minimum listenership. Anchor is everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So if you're looking to get started on your own podcast, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm.
I love you, Benji.
Are you looking to sell or buy your home? Or looking for an investment property? Look no further. BlackWealthRenaissance.com offers a free realtor directory with realtors located across the country to help you meet your goals. Just go to BlackWealthRenaissance.com and select Realtor Directory under Resources. That's BlackWealthRenaissance.com and select Realtor Directory under Resources.
Do you have bad credit and minimum capital and want to get started in real estate? Hi, we're the Mobile Home Elite Investors.
Our e-course solves all of those problems by giving you all the strategies and secrets to become a successful mobile home investor. Tune in at www.mobilehomeeliteinvestors.com.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Black Wealth Renaissance Podcast. Our goal of this podcast is to normalize Black wealth and share helpful resources and tips we believe will be useful in attaining and maintaining generational wealth. Please feel free to rate and comment on our podcast. We would love to hear all feedback you have. Now, enjoy the show.
Welcome, everybody, to the Black Wealth Renaissance Podcast. It's your boy, David Bellard, 1/4 of the Black Wealth Renaissance, checking in with my co-host, fellas. How y'all doing?
What up? How y'all doing, man? It's your boy, Jalen, checking in.
What's good? It's your boy, Kelly, checking in.
What up? It's Jared checking in with y'all. What's up? How y'all doing, man?
We doing good, bro. How y'all doing, man?
Just living, man. Living.
You see, we out here living our best life. We back in the studio again, man.
Yeah, man.
I see that.
Last week we was all together. This week we separated again, but we in the studio. We still working, man.
Always working, always getting. I'm glad we talking about that because we about to talk to somebody who always working and always getting it. We got a lady who's doing major things in Philly in the real estate game.
Yeah.
She about to pop up on here and drop some real good gems on y'all.
Yeah.
Got none other than Miss Michelle McAllister, a.k.a. Miss
Landlord and Stilettos.
How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Yes, good. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here today with you guys.
We appreciate you for coming on and just everything that you're doing, especially on your platform and just in real estate and just educating people.
Yeah, most definitely.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I know when I think the way we connected, I want to say I reached out to you guys, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And I love your content. I was been following your page way before I even decided to start my own. So it's just amazing that we're able to collaborate and kind of have this conversation. It's I talk a lot about mindset on my page. And so it's like what you put in your mind, you can actually bring it to life, because this is definitely something that I kind of saw happening. So it's very exciting.
Oh, we definitely appreciate it.
Appreciate
And I think the way we connected, I think we had reposted one of your
the meme.
it was like a meme.
It was around the time with FaceApp, because I remember I was like, ooh, this one they need to see this one.
Exactly what
Because it was like they always talk about some FaceApp, but
yes.
I can't
Yes,
you need to see what your finances are.
Exactly. So that post originally came from an account that I'm really good friends with, Wisdom to Grow. And so like he always supports my account. I always support his account. And he put the post up. I kind of do my own little remix on it because, I just have a way with, like using the Portia from Real Housewives. Like, you can kind of turn a meme into something a little bit more like for the culture. And so, you guys reposted it, and that was awesome. It just kind of like took off from there.
Yeah, so we definitely appreciate you for reaching out, but also for the content that you post, because it's definitely valuable.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem.
But Michelle, before we get all into the social media game and all that, can we get back and go and just see, can we get you to introduce yourself to the following and just kind of tell people how you got your start in real estate?
Absolutely. So, Michelle McAllister, started Landlord and Stilettos. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but how I got started in real estate. So I went to Johnson C. Smith University, and when I graduated, I had a job back here in Philadelphia waiting for me, and it was a pretty awesome job. It was a pharmaceutical rep. I got hired straight out of school. And so, I was a pharma rep, was making money, had a company car, expense account. It was like, okay, I need to get a fabulous apartment in the city, like go downtown. I was like smack dab in Center City. It was like this beautiful loft apartment. It was gorgeous. I think my rent at the time was like $1,200, $1,300. I could afford it. It wasn't like it was hurting me. And so at the end of my lease, I was about to sign the lease again. And my mother said, you need to tally up, how rich you made your landlord. And so I'm like, what do you mean? And so I tallied up all the rent that I paid for the year. It came up to like a little over $14,000. And then I just kind of sat with that for a little bit. Now, prior to this, it wasn't like I was completely ignorant on money management. Although, honestly, I didn't learn a lot in college about finances and real estate. My father had always sort of planted the seeds in me about generating wealth. So when I was like 13, he gave me a copy of Think and Grow Rich. He gave me a copy of The Richest Man in Babylon. He would give me books on the stock market and how to invest. And I was a teenager, so I would read these books, and I understood it on a fundamental level, but like I didn't have the money to make it happen. So I think it hit me in that moment when I was 22. And my mother said, tally up all this money that you're giving, to a landlord. You could be investing that in yourself. And it kind of just all came together for me. And I knew like I needed to do something different with my life and not just like live this extravagant lifestyle just because, you have a decent income. So it was in that moment, I didn't renew my lease. And I always say like I stuck my tail between my legs like a little sad puppy dog. And I went back home to live with my parents at the age of 22, which is tough. If you guys know, you've been in college on your own by yourself, then you go out, you have an apartment, like you're free, then to go back living in with my mom and dad. And it's not that they're strict, because they're not. I mean, they're definitely in your business, but I was like, wow, I gotta save, because that was the only way that I would be able to accelerate that process of getting my down payment. And so the good thing about being in sales, like I know it's like there's this movement on the internet, mainly Instagram, and it's also another reason why I started my account, where it's like anti-job, where it's like, oh, the 9-to-5 person is a sucker, or the 9-to-5 person is a loser, and I just don't subscribe to that, right? My page is a very job-friendly page. I believe people should do what they want to do, and your path will come to you when it's supposed to come to you, and I'm all about ownership and entrepreneurship and owning real estate. But I don't think that, I think we lose a lot of people when we start to have this conversation about like the working man is a sucker. And so if you come on my page, you won't really get a lot of that. But I say all that to say, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to save money and stay with my parents until I get to where I need to get. But because I had a decent income and because I was in sales, which is always a great career to be in because you're not just, limited by your base salary, you get a bonus. So I remember one quarter, I just like blew it out the water. And between what I had saved and that, I was able to move out in less than 6 months and buy my first property. And I was 23, I believe, by the time that had occurred. So that's when, for me, my journey of saying, you know what, I want to do things a little bit differently. At the time, a coworker of mine had just purchased a beautiful, brand new Jaguar. And he was renting. And he had this beautiful car, and he was like, why are you buying a house? Like, you got your whole life to do that. You're 23. Like, you should be out having fun, driving a nice car. Like, look at me. And then I remember the conversation 5 years later. He was trying to buy a house. The one that he was looking at was, like, overpriced. The market was, like, crazy. And he's like, I wish that I had bought a house and not bought this stupid car. Like, I want to get rid of it. So, hindsight's always 20/20. But at the end of the day, like, that's kind of what opened my eyes. I said I would never like pay a landlord again. Like, I'm either going to be the landlord or not.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal. Ooh. With your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Available now in a biome near you. Oh, and at your local McDonald's. I participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.
That's powerful.
That's powerful, man.
Definitely love to hear that. It's so much we could just dissect in that little part, man.
I do want to just do a quick shout out back to my boy Tosa because it's like a gem in there. How you said after 5 years he recognized that the best lessons you learn are the ones over time. Yeah. And he had said that, and I was like, dang, that's so true. Like, and that's just another example of it right there.
And you know what? It's like, sometimes you got to get that stuff out of your system. It's nothing wrong with that. Like, we got to stop beating up young people for making these poor decisions. Sometimes they got to get these poor decisions out of their systems. You need to know what it feels like to drive the hot car, right? And then once you get that out of your system, it's like, you know what, this isn't all that great. It's okay. But you know what's better is having like ownership and having rental property and having an asset that can pay for that liability. Sometimes it takes you to get to the place where you make that mistake in order for you to realize, okay, this really isn't as hot as I thought it was going to be. Hopefully you wouldn't have, messed up your money or your credit in doing so. That seems to be, the path that a lot of people take. But for him, he had the money, he had the credit, he had the job, he had the lifestyle. I was like, I need the Jaguar to go with it. And then he realized this isn't even all that. Like, I'm wasting my money on this leased car. He had a company car. He didn't even need a car.
Oh, yeah, I'd have definitely been driving my car. Forget that. Forget that.
Right.
Okay, so look, I want to go back to how your financial literacy, like awakening, started at home. So I definitely commend your dad for the books that he gave you, because teaching your children from a young age is so key. And that's one of the things that we really harp on and really kind of highlight. It's like you have to teach your kids. So even if they don't get it while growing up, once they do mature and become an adult, they'll look back and, like he said, on those lessons that they learned as they were young. Like you said, you understood it at a fundamental level. So you didn't apply it, but it was still there, and that seed manifested within you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And even now, those same books, they take on new meaning now, because now I'm an adult. And I still read them. I still read Think and Grow Rich. I still read The Richest Man in Babylon. One of my favorite books is The Alchemist. These are all books that my dad gave me. And he also is big on, I used to think he was strange, and now I get it. But imagine being 13 and he took me to the Transcendental Meditation Institute here in Philadelphia. He paid a lot of money for my sister and I to learn how to meditate at a very early age. And we used to laugh and joke about it. Like, we'd be in a room together, like we're meditating. But you know what? When I started to take it seriously, meditation changed my life. And so it's like I'm trying to relearn all of the things that at 13 I took for granted. But my father had the foresight to say, one day, like, you're going to appreciate this. It's going to pay off for you. And so I have a daughter now. She's 6. I don't want to overwhelm her with too much. But I definitely am trying to instill in her at an early age entrepreneurship, like even with Landlord and Stilettos, she has like a little t-shirt line that's like part of hers, and she takes pictures and she knows when she makes a sale. And so these are the things that I'm trying to instill in her like very early on, because even if you just plant the seed now, it might not, the person may not reap it immediately. It's gonna happen, trust me. Because with my dad doing all the stuff that he did for me and my teens, it definitely helped me when I got into my 20s. All the books that he recommended, and I have a book reel on my page of like just all the books that I've loved that have like changed my life over the years, so much so that I wrote my own book when I turned 30, because he just always kind of instilled in me, like, you can do anything you want. You don't ever let anybody tell you differently. So I kind of have that mindset.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know you wrote a book either. So
or something to talk about.
Yeah.
So, once again, I want to commend you because you're definitely doing the work. You're doing more than just talking you about it. So.
Yeah, I try to be.
So do you ever have like any trouble with when teaching your child how to these different investments opportunities, or just the basics of it? Do you ever find yourself in a frustrating situation with that?
Well, she's 6, so I'm not, I don't go too crazy with, you said to my child, right?
Yes,
my child.
yes.
Yeah, she is 6 years old, so I still want her to have fun. I want her to enjoy life. Like, we have time to talk about this stuff. What I do try to do is incorporate her into the things that I'm doing. So recently, like, I just had a vacancy at my property. I needed to go over there and take care of some stuff before my tenants moved in, and she wanted to come with me. So she'll help me clean up. She'll help me, like, wipe down the appliances. She understands that we have rental property. She knows that we own homes. She says it like we have houses, but it's definitely not something that I try to, I don't want her to brag about it or talk about it. It's just she understands what mommy is doing, and she definitely wants to help. And then, like I said, we have the t-shirt side of the business, so she loves to help out with that. So she, right now, I want it to be fun for her. I don't want it to be one of those situations where, you drag your kids to work and they're like, oh, I don't want to be with you, I hate this. It's just, no. For her right now, it's fun, and I want to keep it that way.
I love it. Jared, didn't you have a question too?
Oh, no, earlier I was just going to say I wanted to pick out of what you said that was really cool with your parents. Your dad just always instilling in you that you could do whatever you wanted to do. I feel like that's such a large part of what we as a community really need to start pushing, is that people can do whatever they want to do, because until, it's kind of weird, but it's like a switch in your head. It's like until you're kind of told that you can do all of these different things, for some reason, I feel like a lot of people feel like you can't. Like, they think, I can't own these type of things, or I can't own these types of businesses, or I can't start this. And then, they see examples, or they hear somebody that tells them like, yeah, you can. And then from there, they're like, oh, okay, well, that is possible. I can figure out how to do that. I can be that type of owner, to have that type of ownership. And I just feel like it's cool.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why, if you notice on my page, it's like, I call it like half inspirational, half informational. So I give tons of content and tips about real estate, how to invest in real estate, things that you should do, things that you shouldn't do. But then the other part of my page is all about mindset, because it doesn't matter. You can have all the information and knowledge in the world, but if you don't have the proper mindset to actually make all of your dreams come true, it's like it won't happen. And so I'm very big on mindset. I'm always trying to work on my own mindset. It's like a never ending thing. You never just get to the day when you're like, okay, my mindset is where it should be. Like, it's always evolving and developing. So anybody that follows me knows that I may have, 5 posts that are real estate content related, and then 10 posts coming up strictly about mindset, positive affirmations, how to develop the right attitude, how to develop an investor mindset. So I think that the two go hand in hand. And I love that, our community is comfortable now talking about these things, and it's not weird and taboo.
Yeah.
Glad you mentioned mindset. Can you go into like your mindset whenever you said you bought your first property at 23?
I wanted to touch back on that. So
That
definitely thank you,
was
Kelly.
going to be my next question. I want to go back to the first deal.
Yeah. So you bought your
Okay.
first property at 23, right?
Yeah.
Can you discuss your mindset and then the process of how maybe that went about?
And
Yeah.
before we even get into mindset, was that first deal like you were living in it or it was an investment property?
Sure. So I purchased it with the intent of it being an investment property. So I moved into it and I fixed it up. And then I moved right out after like 2.5 years. Well, no, it might have been a little bit longer than that, maybe like 3 years. But I knew that it was a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath house. It was beautiful. It was way too big. I was single and I had no business living in a home like that, but I knew that it would be a great rental property. And so my intent was to go in, kind of fix it up, live there, and then move out. And that was my strategy for the longest. I would go in, buy a house, live in it, move out. Go in, buy a house, live in it, move out. And I could move like that because I was single. I didn't have any kids. I didn't have a husband. All I had was good credit and a great job. And that's pretty much all you need, right? Like, you have freedom to do kind of whatever you want. My address changed all the time for the longest. And so for this particular property, my mindset, I was nervous. I'm not going to pretend like it wasn't a big deal. At the time, I think like this house, it wasn't, not that this isn't inexpensive, but I'll talk about numbers for this particular example. It was $114,000. And I thought at the time that was like so much money. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to have $114,000 of debt in my name. Like, I was making such a big deal out of it when now it's like, now it's not a big deal. But what is interesting is that, you know, I had student loans at the time. And so I was more concerned about my student loan debt than I was like this mortgage debt, which now it's like, you know, I could care less. But the long and short of it was I was nervous about it. And that amount did intimidate me because as a single person, I didn't have a husband to fall back on if something happened, right, with my employment or with the mortgage or any types of repairs that needed to be done. There was no fallback case or no plan B. It was me. And it's always been that way throughout my entire investment journey. And so that's why it's important on my page. You'll see that when I give examples of like, oh, you know, Emily just purchased an investment property. It's Emily, a single mom of 2, just purchased an investment property, because women can do this. Single moms can do this. Like, you don't have to be married with a husband to be able to invest in real estate. And that's something that I really want women to know and understand, because a lot of women will look at me and they'll say, well, are you single? And it's like, well, yeah. And, oh, well, you don't have like a husband that's like, no, I don't. Like, if all hell breaks loose, it's on me. And so initially when I first bought that property, that was in the back of my head. I was very nervous about that all the time. And then eventually, as I just started to do this more and more, what I tell women is like, you know, when you're single and you invest in property, not that a property could ever replace a man. That's not the example that I'm trying to say here. But what I'm saying is you're now building an additional income stream that could serve as that plan B that we're talking about, that fallback system, that what would have maybe ordinarily been a person that you relied on, you now have a property that provides you with rental income that you can rely on. So I think it's important for women to know that it doesn't matter what your marital status is, doesn't matter. Like, you can do it if you want to do it.
I'm so glad you touched on it. That's beautiful. Yeah, it is bars, brother. Because that's something that I feel like we don't highlight enough, not only just with our platform, but just in general as a community, is the fact that women can do these things by themselves. So I'm glad that you touch on that and that you provide that example to our sisters, because they need that. You do not need a man to build additional streams of income.
It's nice to have one, you know, to do that with, if you can do that with, and that's a blessing and it's a wonderful thing. But I think a lot of women, you know, I like to tell the story of when I was going to buy my first house, and my aunt said to me, you know, rest her peace. She said, rest in peace. She said, you are never going to get a husband if you buy this house. Like, this is the worst decision you can possibly make. Do not buy this home. You will intimidate a man. A man will never want to marry a woman who owns a home before he does. a lot of people think this way, old school, right? And so I listened to her. I mean, I didn't take the advice, but there are women, I believe, sometimes who might hold themselves back for fear of not wanting to intimidate people or not wanting to put themselves in a position where it might, you know, be intimidating to a man. But my theory is that, you know, the right guy will love and appreciate these things about a woman. And if anything, you know, you're bringing something to the table. That's always a phenomenal thing. But it still can be a daunting. It still can be a daunting process, especially like now I have a daughter. And so, but it didn't stop me. Now it makes me just go harder for her because it's like, okay, I'm not going to be scared. Now I got, you know, before I was just doing it and I was going to be the cool aunt that left all this real estate behind for her nieces and nephews. Now I have, you know, a legacy to leave it behind for.
I love it.
That's crazy. I can't believe she told you that it would intimidate somebody. I've never heard anything like that.
Yeah, you know, she was kind of old school, and you know how it is. She was old school, and she just said, "You're never gonna find a man if you do this," and so whatever.
Yeah, it just made me think like that's why I really like the example that you said so much too, because it's like that old school mentality. We talk about this every now and again. And like a lot of the old school mentality is imparted into our society and like our younger ways of thinking. And the fact that like you willing to go get it on your own speaks volumes to me because like I feel like society trains women to have this kind of like that damsel in distress.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I'm waiting on somebody to come save me mentality. And that's not the mentality that I have. You don't need nobody to come save you. You can save yourself. We preach that all the time. Personal accountability, personal responsibility. You can save yourself, and we need women to know that too. You don't need that man to do that. So once again,
but also don't let a man come in and live off y'all if y'all is bossing up like this. You better not be no sucker. That's all I'm saying.
You better find you a Renaissance
You better
man
find you a king. A king that can help buy some property. And if it's credit a little bad, you know, we might need a teacher. Help him out a little.
Might have to work with him a little bit.
Right.
Throw it in there. I don't know. I just had to throw it in.
Somebody needs it. Okay, so next thing I do want to get into it, Landlord and Stilettos, because I keep talking about the example you said. Can we go back and see how that started?
Yeah. So this is just a good example of fear and how I kind of let fear consume me a couple years ago. So 10 years ago, I was on the path of, I'd written a book. I was doing a lot of speaking engagements. It was like an amazing journey. But I was living like this dual life. So I had my 9 to 5. I was going to work every day in my pharmaceutical career. And then I had this other life where I was like investing in real estate, and I wrote this book and doing all these speaking engagements. And then I had gotten this big promotion at work, and there was no way I could do both. I just couldn't. I was burning the candle at both ends. I was like exhausted. And it was in that moment where I chose the corporate life, because I was like, well, you know, I had like my mom kind of in my ear, like, you know, you stick with a job and it's like a wonderful, lucrative opportunity. And it was something that I wanted and I had worked so hard for, but so was this other sort of side of my life that I was doing. But anyway, I decided to go down that path. And in my heart, I always had in the back of my head just the love that I have of sharing information and helping people, and just like my dream of, you know, writing and just kind of all this stuff that I had in my heart that I was able to do somewhat in my career, but I just struggled with not really having that creative outlet. So a couple years ago, I put on a seminar, and it was called I think it was called Champagne Real Estate. And it was for women who were interested in buying rental property in Philadelphia. And I put on this seminar, and I went to the hotel, and I got the conference room and ordered all the food and started selling tickets. And it was like very well attended, and I loved it. I was like in my element, doing my thing of teaching people about like generational wealth and buying real estate. And it was in that moment that I had gotten the idea of doing Landlord and Stilettos, which was going to be a blog. And so life just kind of took over, and I got the domain name, and I started the website, and I started the blog, but I wasn't committed to it. I don't know. I wasn't committed to it. And then lo and behold, years later, I literally said to myself, you know what, Michelle, like, you should just do it, but do it in a way that is meaningful for you, and like you're going to get the most out of it as well. And at that moment, like just sitting there writing long blog posts, this wasn't it for me. I didn't have the time. Like I see you shaking your head. Like I go to work every day. I have a daughter. I just was like, I don't have time to sit here and write. Like it takes me a long time to get those blog posts out. And then you're doing all that. And if you don't have the traffic that's going to your website, you kind of just writing for yourself, right? So at that time, I've been doing a lot of research and studying Instagram, and I was like, you know, maybe I could do an Instagram page. And again, like fear did come over me. It was like, you know, I can't describe it. Sometimes I'm like my own worst enemy, and I talk about this on my page. I'm very open about the struggles that I have with my own mindset. And I think for me, like I'm actually afraid of success. Like, I'll be afraid of the things that I want to come true to actually come true. And so, you know, when I started this page, I was like, well, it probably won't, you know, it'll do okay. Even if I get like, you know, 100 followers, I'll be happy with that. And then like, lo and behold, it just starts kind of taking off, which is an amazing thing. But it's what I put my heart and soul into this page, and I'm building a community, and everybody in this community helps each other. Like, you know, you go on some pages, I'll go unnamed, they'll go unnamed, and like you read the comments and it's like people arguing at each other and saying like disrespectful stuff. And it's like, my community is so not like that. Like, I'll give you an example of what my community is like. I did a post one day on, if you want to invest in real estate, should you have your real estate license? And so, you know, my opinion is, no, you don't need a real estate license if you want to invest in real estate. But people have varying opinions on it. And one of the girls in the comments said, listen, if there are any New York people on this page, like I'm studying for my license in New York, I'll give you all of the resources. I'll give you like everything that I've used. I can email it to you. And people were like, here's my email address. Here's my email address. She just shared. Like, that's the type of community that we have over there on my page. And I make sure to monitor like people the trolls that try to come on, like I'll block and delete in a heartbeat, because that's not the type of environment that I want to create.
I love it for the culture. This be major, because like a lot of people often talk to us and they want to ask us about things for Instagram and how to build like a following. And I think that's the way you just talked about your following. It's a community. That's really what you're trying to foster. Like, you don't want just a bunch of people following your page. It's that community feel that you foster. And it takes what you said, you put your heart into it, because you see similar things on BWR. We put our hearts into this. We want to create an environment where people can come and exchange information and share and help each other grow. And because you put the work in, you see the benefits, you see the work. Like, a lot of times when it comes to social media, a lot of people, they just want to post pictures and get followers so they can make money at the end of the day. And that's not what it's about. This is about creating communities and actively seeing change
in people's
lives based off just social media.
It is. And the other thing, and I'm sure you guys get this a lot too, but it'll make my day just to get a DM from somebody that said, listen, you know, I read your last post, like it changed my life. Or, you know, people will tag me at the settlement table and do like hashtag Landlord and Stilettos, and they'll say like, thank you, Michelle, like all the content you put out, I made it, like I'm here. Like, that is priceless to me. You know, I don't even have to make $1.
The NBA playoffs are here, and I'm getting my bets in on FanDuel. Talk to me, Chuck GPT. What do you know?
All sorts of interesting stuff, even Charles Barkley's greatest fear.
Hey, nobody needs to know that.
New customers bet $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. 21 plus and present in Virginia. Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yes, like that's how I feel too. Like you say, we do get those type of DMs, and I'm just like, man, I'm like, man, the type of effect are you? Like, we're so like happy that we could do that for you.
Yeah.
I know.
Because like there's somebody like last week, there's like, yeah, since I've been following y'all, I got my credit fixed. I'm about to purchase a house. I was like, really? And I was just like so happy for them. And it was just such a great feeling that we can help you get onto that step in your life. So it's just like, damn, we're getting to see the change that we wanted. I don't care if it's one person at a time.
Right.
And exactly. And that's why I tell people, because, you know, first of all, like, what's y'all at, like 155,000 now? Y'all killing the game.
No.
I don't know what it is, but you know, y'all doing good. Y'all doing good.
Like 118.
That's what's so, you know, I tell people, and I'm at 15, right? And so there are people that follow me and they might be at like 25 or 30. And this is the example that I say to them. I said, when I had 48 followers in my mind, I picture if I had an event and if 48, 50 people showed up, that's a good event, right? Like, I would say that's a success. We get so hung up on this little number that we see up there on our profile when we forget that that number is people. Those are people. So give that 48 people your all. It will grow when you do that. And so if you go back to the beginning of my page, I post the same fire content that I'm posting now at 15K that I'll be posting at 150K. So like, don't hold back in terms of your content and your emotions and your stories you have to tell, because that's how you're going to grow. Treat those 50 people like they're standing in front of you, you know, talking to you at a live speaking event. What are y'all thoughts on that?
I definitely agree.
I agree.
Yeah, I feel like I actually feel like that's the best way. I was trying to explain that to some people. I feel like that's the best way to grow as far as social media goes, because it's the same thing as when you have a business and it's customer relationship management. If I'm treating you out of the 100 and however many thousand or even the 10 people, if I'm treating you like you the only person in the room, then you're going to appreciate what I'm doing for you that much more. You know, so when we had, that's one thing that, you know, we really harp on too, like interacting with your follower, with your community, you know, talk to them. If you have the information to try to help somebody, comment. You know, if you have, you know, infographics, anything that you think that might help somebody, either post it post it or send it to them, you know, however or whatever you need to do when you're trying to actually help somebody. But I think that goes back to what you were saying before, even earlier in the episode. It goes back to your genuine intent of being to help people. So it's like when you really want to help people, you don't mind doing stuff like that because you're honestly just passing along resources that you would have done anyway because you wanted to help. But I think that's a huge part of it. That's how you get your following to grow, because people will repost you when you're like that. You know, they want to work with you more when you like that.
Absolutely. And then the other thing is that, you know, and I try to tell people too, like, if you don't like interacting with people and you don't want to help people, like, don't start a page because, you know, if you think you're just about to just run up in people's pockets by starting an Instagram page, like, you know, Landlord and Stilettos for me is like, it's so much bigger. I don't even like to say it's an Instagram page because for me, I have an online business and there are like 5 different streams of my business where I'm able to make money from it. And it's not from necessarily my followers. So I think that when you have your model built strictly around, you know, making money from your followers, that's where people go wrong. And they start to resent the very community that they built because maybe you're not able to sell a product. Maybe nobody's going to buy your t-shirts this week. Are you going to like hate your followers and hate your community because they didn't buy your stuff? Like, hopefully you're creating some type of model around what you're doing that doesn't always rely on whether or not your community is purchasing something from you, and you still give them the content and the information and the fire that you're supposed to give them regardless.
I also want to piggyback off of what you said, like even with your page, the honesty. I know we'll post stuff that's really honest, like sometimes we'll post a wake-up call for you. Yeah. But we don't care because we feel like sometimes people need that. And honestly, if you don't like it, that's on you. But at least you saw it and it might help.
Yeah, you know, on my page, I will say when I first started, I was a little, I was reluctant to give my opinion and perspective. I didn't want to offend people. I know I can come across strong at times. Yeah. And so I definitely waited a while, but now I'm like totally out there, like whatever. Like if I feel it, I say it. If you disagree, great, let's talk about it. Let's debate about it, right? But I'll definitely give wake-up calls similar to what you just mentioned. And it does. It pisses people off. It makes them angry. But that's when you know that, like, you're saying something that's meaningful. When you say it and it, like, strikes the nerve and hits the chord, like, that's what you're supposed to do. That's how you're going to differentiate yourself in this saturated marketplace of everybody just reposting all of the same content and being afraid to take a stance and have an opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
very true.
And then it goes back to earlier, having that helpful community where people can actually have an open dialogue too. Whenever you have that type of community, you can come at people's necks and they won't come at you like, oh man, F you, F this, you stupid, ugly, your mama this. You know how people be in the comments.
Yeah.
But like they really like, damn, maybe I need to take a step back and look at what I'm doing.
If you present it to them like you're coming to them like, hey, so what do you think about this instead of this? Or if you're getting more interactive with them instead of just coming directly at them, hey, you're wrong. And I don't think that was the right way to say it. If you come with them with a question, it's a better interactive feeling with them.
It's all about the perspective.
Absolutely.
And in my opinion, it's also balance. It's balance. You gotta come in and you have to sometimes be really, easing it along with people, sugarcoating it, or, trying to get the message across. But then other times, you got to come in and drop the hammer. You need to figure out what's going on. I'm going to hurt your feelings, but it's going to be what you need,
Exactly. So I created this character on my page. Her name is Lola. And so I don't know if you guys have seen her, but like she's like black power. She's got like a big afro, beautiful dark brown complexion. She wears these sunglasses. And anyway, Lola is like my alter ego. Lola. And Lola like speaks her mind. She says the stuff that I would want to say, but I don't actually say to people. And like she always generates a reaction because she'll say stuff that maybe in your head you want to say, but you just don't have the guts to say, or it's like way too harsh. But like, there's ways that you can deliver information to your audience where they can take it in a dose where it's not like you preaching to them all the time. It's almost like comedy, right? Like we listen to Chris Rock and we listen to Dave Chappelle and they'll be hitting on like some super serious topics, but because it's funny and it's like coming through in a comedic way, we're able to digest it a little bit better. So I would say to people that are trying to like grow a following and do a page, if you do have something you're super passionate about, instead of coming across as preachy, try to figure out different creative ways to get that information to your audience so they can digest it a little bit better. That's kind of what I did with Lola on my page. She's going to hit hard. She's going to say what she has to say, but it's not me saying, it's not Michelle saying. It's like, you can't get mad at me and curse me out. Lola said that. I didn't say that.
And that's smart. And I was just on the page. Lola seems like that auntie that you'll come every now and then and be like, hey, get your mind right. Or this is what's going on. And just keep on going.
And when it's just keep it real with you.
Yeah, she definitely goes hard. People love her. And what's great is like, she just started out in my head. And this is the beauty of Instagram and having a page and social media. You can try things and experiment and don't worry about people thinking it's corny or, oh, this is whack. If you make it hot, it'll be hot. And so for me, it's like I created this persona in my head of this like super confident, financially empowered woman who just like told it like it was. And I felt like if I said these things, people probably wouldn't respond well to it. So that's why I kind of created that character, and people respond to her. They love Lola. So I have like a little reel on top of my page where if you want to see like all my Lola cartoons, you can click on that and see her getting smart with people 24/7.
That's an interesting way of doing it.
I like that.
And I agree with that too, though. You definitely got to be willing to take risks when it comes to business and when it comes to especially like the social media and the internet aspect of it, because you never know what's going to pop off or what's going to work for you or work for your business. Like for people out there who are listening, we talk about Black Wealth Renaissance, like the movement of it now, because we have a lot of followers and it's really cool. But when we very first started, we didn't even know if this would take. We didn't even know if people would like it. This wasn't even a year ago, and we're like, I don't know if they're going to like this. And then it took off, so you just have to be willing to try that.
And look now, look at you now. You got BWR groupies and everything. You know,
Here we go.
Oh Lord.
No, it's definitely. I'm just kidding with y'all. I'm just kidding with y'all. I'm kidding. Y'all are crazy. But I will say that this journey for me has only been 6 months. I can only imagine what a year from now will look like. And really the biggest accomplishment to date is I know that I'm impacting people's lives. And I know that, you know, struggles that I might be going through as a Black woman, as a single Black woman, as a single mom, I'm not afraid to talk about it. And even as it relates to investing, you know, I'm not afraid to put out, hey, this is how you guys might be feeling, and this is how I'm able to overcome it. And I think, you know, women want to see that. And what's also great about my page is that I have a ton of men that follow too. So I initially thought it would just be like, you know, Landlord and Stilettos, a bunch of women, but guys love the page. So men are welcome. Come on over, you guys.
Hey, it's so dope that you can create.
You've only done it for 6 months. So do you have like a plan set or any type of thing set where you know you're going to have to build and possibly get a team?
Yeah, I feel that way now. I really do. It would be great. But I am, in terms of the content, I just feel like that's something I'll always need to control because of like a certain way I want to put it out there. But yes, I definitely would love to have that. And I'm actually working on a lot of things. I would say the next 3 months of my life probably going to look very different. Maybe the next time we talk, we'll get into that. But I'm definitely making some changes and I'm excited about what's to come.
We're going to wish you luck because I ain't gonna lie, we tried to hire some employees before.
It's an interesting process. We're gonna leave it at that. It's an interesting process.
Yeah.
You come across a lot of different personalities and just a lot of different things. Yeah. A lot of different liars, a lot of different factors.
Y'all two got this back and forth going on with each other where you get these looks and these. I'm trying to figure out what that is, but okay.
We'll tell you more about it.
Okay, no problem.
I do want to make another pivot. I'm going to switch gears, no LeVar Ball type comments though.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to start back with the real estate because I'm interested with that still. What would be your advice to any woman looking to get into real estate?
Say that again because you went out real quick. What did you say? What would be my advice to what?
Any woman looking to get started in real estate.
Any woman? I mean, my advice to any woman would be don't even think about your gender, right? Like, don't even think about the fact that you're a woman that you want to get into real estate. You're just an individual and a person, and the same resources that men have available to them, a woman has available to her. You have, you know, good credit, or you're working on your credit. You have access to capital. You have access to the same knowledge that a man would have. The same contractor that he would use, you can go use. Like, I really think the barriers for women getting into this industry are like, they're not there like they used to be. And I see women all the time on Instagram and in real life that are killing it. And it's very inspiring. But for me, back when I was doing it, I didn't have those examples. And so I just did it based on the strength of my dad telling me you can do whatever you want to do. So I would say for any woman that wants to invest in real estate, just go for it and don't even think about the fact that you're a woman. Just do what you want to do based on the fact that you can do whatever you want to do.
You spoke earlier on going into a house, living in it for a couple of years, and then moving out. Can you explain like that process and how to do that for some of our followers?
Yeah, so you go purchase a home, and if you get like an FHA loan, you don't have to put down like the full 20%. And so you put down, you know, less than 5% if that's what you choose to do. Not everybody would choose to go that path, but for me, that worked for me. And then I would stay in the property and I would fix it up and I would do whatever modifications that needed to be done. And then I would move out. And after about usually like 2.5 years, I would be on to the next one. And so that really works if you're able to, I mean, obviously you always want to try to buy like under market value, but you want to make sure that you can get enough rent that, you know, is going to make you a profit and cover all of your expenses. That's a strategy that I use without any like reading it in a book, or it was just like, this is what works for me. And right now, like at the time, I didn't have anything that was holding me back. So it was very easy for me to do. Obviously, if you have a husband or a wife and kids, you might not want to move them around so much. But if you're a single person out here and you want to do that, man, get a duplex, move into a unit, live in there for a little while, bam, go out and get the next one. You know, like you have the freedom to be able to make those types of moves that other people aren't able to make.
Jared, did you have a question? Because I saw your hand was up.
Oh, no, I was going to mention, I thought that was a really cool, you know, strategy as far as how people can get into it and how people can get started. That was all.
Okay. So now that you do have a daughter, and I know your life kind of switched gears on you, what type of strategies or steps are you taking now?
Yeah, so right now, my strategies, like the last property I did was like a full rehab. So I went to a sheriff's sale and I purchased the property and like fully rehabbed it. And I clearly, you know, I'm not going to be moving around as much as I normally would. So I'll probably just buy and hold that way. I have to put more money down, but that's fine. And then I'm also looking at other income streams, not just real estate. So like real estate, my own business, having an online business, like a couple other things above and beyond just the real estate, but that will always be at the core, like, of what I do, which is real estate investing. But I won't be moving around as much anymore because it's just impossible to do right now. I just bought a house, the house that I live in now, a year ago. I had it built from the ground up, and it's kind of like, for me, my dream house of where I would want to be. So I think I'm just going to stay here for a little while, and at least until she like gets ready for college or whatever path that she chooses to take, I'll probably stay here until then. Although my father says I move around too much, I'll probably end up buying something else again. But I don't know. I think I'm going to stay here for a little while. I like it.
I do actually have a question along those lines too. Along with having a child and how it's changed things, has having real estate and having other streams of income, has that allowed you to spend more time like with your with your child as far as like developmental years and time and stuff like that?
Well, as similar to you, I have a career right now, so I do all of this myself. So a career, the real estate, the online business, I always make time for her, and she's my priority before all of this stuff. I think right now, the trajectory that I'm setting my life on, the path that I'm on, I will get there. But like right now it's a bit hectic. It's kind of hectic, but she's always my number one priority. And where I can incorporate her throughout my journey, I definitely try to. But mommy time comes first. So even above anything else, you know, when you have the kid, everything changes. Just everything changes in a good way.
Another question I would like to ask, would you have kind of the same thing, but from a different angle? What would you suggest for anybody trying to get started building a Instagram community or a social media community?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say networking, like how we did, is very important. I think people completely negate the power of even just sending someone a DM and just giving them props. You may not want anything from them. You just may want to say, I love your page and I love what you're doing. Keep up the good work. How many times have that happened to you guys, and maybe you went and looked at that person's page and then reposted their content just to show them some love? Like, wonderful things can happen just from networking with people. I would say networking with people, being original, having like original content is great. So many accounts just repost the same stuff over and over and over again. I remember I've downloaded this guy's book on how to grow an Instagram community, and I did everything opposite of what he told me to do. He's like, all of your, you know, posts should look the same, all of your fonts should be the same. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm doing what I want to do. So I would say just experiment. Do what you want to do. Do what works for you. Don't look at other people's accounts and try to copy them. Like, they are successful because that's what they wanted to do. Make your own lane. So that's like the best advice that I can give. I did a webinar on this. It's actually available on my site. It's how to create your online business using Instagram. And I talk about the ways that you can create a community, build your niche, all that good stuff. So just keep at it and don't ever give up.
I love it. I'm glad you touched on niches too, because that's like something that people really don't think of. My day job, I'm a science teacher. So that's something we talk about, just niches in nature. So it's like people don't think about it a lot of the times, but we as humans are still animals. And I like to relate everything back, because even in like the internet space and all that, everything is a niche. Everybody has their own niche. Like what you're doing with Landlord and Stilettos and what we're doing with Black Wealth Renaissance. Yes, there's some overlap, but what the things that make us different, that's the reason we're not in competition. That's the reason we can collaborate and things work so well in this internet space, because if you find a way to niche down and really find an audience that is truly your audience, there's no such thing as a competition. You can work together with anybody. Like, you have to stay in your lane, like you said. Stay in your lane, do you, and the rest will follow.
I just love what you said, especially the part about competition. That is so important. I see so many pages like, stealing people's content, taking people's stuff, ripping off their logo, putting their own. It's like, if you just reposted the person and gave them credit, you make an internet friend. And that's what you need in this game. When you're trying to build a page and build a name for yourself, you want to be able to collaborate. Like the post that we did together, it's like, let's collaborate with each other. And y'all posted something one day that I actually loved it. It was hilarious. You put up a post and it says something along the lines of like, don't DM me and say, let's collaborate, and then don't have any ideas. Who came up with that?
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's tax season, and we're all a bit tired of numbers. But here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now here's a good number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it, guaranteed. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Oh, which one of us posted that?
Don't DM us all the time.
I think we saw it on Twitter or something. Yeah, we always talk about
it. Don't DM us with the Idris Elba.
No, it was like it was Idris Elba.
Yeah, that was me. That was me that came. I like to throw shade at people every now and then. I be throwing shade.
No, you clearly were throwing shade, but I loved it because it's like people reach out to you all the time. Let's collaborate. Let's do this. Let's do that. And you're like, okay, what's up? And then they like, you tell me. And it's like, no, that's not how this works,
like,
So
working on stuff, we focusing on stuff. Like, bring something to the table. Don't just come to the table and come take something out the pot if you ain't put in.
Like my favorite story. I don't know.
Exactly.
The little hen. You remember the story with the hen?
Yeah.
She was baking the pie. She was going around asking everybody for help, trying to get ingredients and stuff. Nobody had nothing to offer. Then they all want a piece of the pie. That's exactly the same thing. Want a piece of the pie.
That is such a good analogy. Yes, that is such a great analogy. And so, yeah, I mean, you can't look at people like your competition. Everybody is a friend, and we can all eat. And I think that's just something people need to understand. And that goes in the real estate game. That goes in the Instagram community. There's enough for all of us. Like, this world is full of so much abundance. Whether you believe in God or Allah or the universe, like, it's so much abundance. We don't have to fight each other and kill each other for scraps. You can create, the path that you want to take. So I'm very appreciative that you guys had me here today to talk. I know we talked about a lot, but it was like a very fascinating conversation.
You are a stamp of approval. You are a Renaissance woman.
Oh, thank you.
So we're going to pivot to our last section of the podcast. It's called What's on Your Timeline?
What it do?
So what's on your timeline? We basically just ask something that you saw on your social media feed, something that you either posted that you want to speak about, elaborate, or something that you saw on your timeline that you want to talk about?
Just something you thought was impactful, you wanted to speak on.
She's like, y'all put me on the spot.
Y'all putting me on the spot. First of all, I've been freaking out about this interview all day. So I haven't even been online because I get nervous about doing stuff like this.
I promise.
Yeah.
What was the last thing that I posted about? What did I last post about? I would have to look at my account. I don't even remember. Do y'all have it in front of you by any chance?
We could get it up real quick. Bam.
I'm actually on it right now. The woman you're becoming will cost people, relationships, spaces, and material things. Choose her over everything. That's your last
post. That's a good one. That was a repost, and the author was unknown. And that a lot of times I'm posting about stuff that I'm going through or stuff that I'm feeling. And, when you invest in real estate, or you start an online business, or you doing something that just goes completely against the grain of what society tells you is normal, or what your parents might think is normal, or none of your friends are doing it, and you're like the oddball out. That's what I'm going through right now. So it's like everything in my life, it's like not a lot of people in my life have Instagram pages like Landlord and Stilettos. They're not trying to create an online business. Fortunately, because I'm doing it, I think I'm inspiring people to do it. It's a very lonely journey. And so I posted that because at the time, it's going to be a lot of distractions that's going to come your way to try to get you to not do these things. And I'm choosing myself over all of that. That's just where I'm at in my space right now. And it's costing me a lot. It's costing me my social life. I'm not hanging out on the weekends. I'm working. I work Monday through Friday, and then I come home, and Saturday and Sunday are work days. Like I literally, tomorrow is a Sunday. I have coaching calls lined up every hour on the hour. It's a blessing. It's what I asked for. But there is no going out Sunday brunch, having fun, just living life. I'm trying to build right now. So I'm choosing this woman that I'm growing into over everything else. And so that's kind of where I was at mentally when I posted that.
I love it. Especially like you're saying, like the stuff that you have to give up, because we go through the same thing. Like my brothers, they're always like, man, you always doing a podcast. You don't never want to do nothing with it. I'm like, bro, you don't understand like what we're working on and like what we're actually doing. Like last weekend, we left from Lafayette, Louisiana at 3:00 in the morning. Went to Ruston, Louisiana to pick up Jared,
who drove 12 hours from Nebraska to get there.
Wow.
And then we drove to Shreveport, Louisiana, set up our business bank account. Then after that,
pushed to Dallas to go do a podcast.
And Kelly met us in Shreveport from West Texas.
Yeah, I went from West Texas to Shreveport. Well, got to Tyler, had a flat tire, had to change that. Made it to Shreveport, come to Shreveport, go all the way back to Dallas, go all the way back to West Texas.
But that's the shit people don't see.
Wow.
The grind, the hustle.
And that's the mindset of where you are. Like but it's fun for you. I'm sure it is. Like it doesn't feel like work. Like does this feel like work?
Like, no, I'll do it again. Like honestly, we were supposed to go to Houston this weekend. We were supposed to go to Houston today, but we didn't.
Yeah, you'll get to a place where, and I try to explain that to people, like, I really actually don't want to be out. Like, I want to be doing this, like it's fun for me. I enjoy it. I love it. It's my passion. So when you feel that way, it's like you put the hours in and you look up and you're like, oh, wow, it's 3:00 in the morning. I should probably go to sleep. Now, when my daughter's here, she gets all of my time and attention. And that's the only time where in my community where if I don't respond to a comment or I don't get to a DM, it's because, she comes first. But other than that, as soon as she sleeps, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm up answering, DMs and doing the engagement stuff. You have to do it. But that's where I came from on that last post. It was more just choose that woman. You want to invest in real estate, it's going to require some sacrifices, and you're going to have to become a new person mentally, look at money very differently. Choose that woman over everything else. That's basically where I'm at right now. I'm choosing me.
I love it. Okay, so can you plug the people and let them know where they can find you at and what services and
where can they find out more about your book too?
Yeah,
I don't want to
everything that you offer. Like just let them know what you got going on, where they can find it at, and just how they can keep up with you.
Thank you. I could plug myself. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So on Instagram, you can find me at Landlord and Stilettos, at Landlord and Stilettos. I have a website. You can go to landlordandstilettos.com. I'm on Facebook, although I'm not as engaged as I am on Facebook as I am on Instagram. I'm trying to get there. Probably be better to do Instagram other than Facebook. Y'all the same way?
Yeah, I don't even get on our Facebook, honestly.
I know. So right now, the services that I offer, I do offer coaching. It's a couple different sessions that you could book me for. So if you're interested in passive income or getting to your first rental property or building an online business, I can do all types of coaching. And then sometimes people have completely different ideas of how they might want to use me. And so I do like customized coaching packages. I have a book that I wrote. And I'm actually about to revise it, but while it's available. What'd you say?
So what's the name of the book?
So the name of the book is 22 Life Principles for the Ultimate Woman. And it's basically like a inspirational, motivational book. I talk a lot about my journey of investing in real estate and mindset. Everything that I always talk about is always going to be like mindset. But I have like 22 different principles that I walk people through in terms of following your journey to kind of follow your dreams. I do have a t-shirt line. I call them financial statement tees. So they're a little provocative. I say things that, I say things that might be in your head that you wouldn't necessarily put on a t-shirt. But I do have that piece. And then, those are the services that I offer right now. I do speaking engagements as well. So a couple nights ago, I was hired by a real estate firm to come in to talk about how to leverage social media with all of their realtors. They just hired 15 brand new realtors, and none of them have social media accounts. And so this particular broker of the firm was like, listen, we need to get into this online game, and you guys need to start, promoting yourself. So I went and spoke about that. So I'll do different speaking engagements.
That is what's up.
And that's it.
So look, y'all go to her Instagram page, go to her website.
Yeah.
Y'all go, if you need some coaching calls, y'all go call her on that.
And y'all know we plugging it in.
Y'all already know
how we coming.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, look, he's showing her one of her shirts. I ain't want to tell him.
Wait,
it's assets over ass shots. I'm just saying.
You got to say something so the screen can get on you, my brother.
Oh, my bad. Let me see. Hold on. Can y'all see?
Oh, there we go. Stop wasting y'all money on Dr. Miami, goddamn. We're going to get some houses.
Exactly. Put it in there.
Children can't take them implants with you. Let's get it.
You can't take them implants with you.
Damn. Y'all funny. Thank you so much for having me today, guys. I really appreciate it. This has been an amazing opportunity. I thank all of you guys so much, and I love what you're doing. Keep up the good work. This is so amazing for the culture. What y'all doing is amazing.
Oh, we appreciate you coming on, and we appreciate you reaching out the very first time. So it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we can get to some house cleaning before we end the episode.
Just get it right real quick. All right, so as always, everybody, make sure y'all follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Instagram is at Black Wealth Renaissance, Twitter at BWR_movement.
Yep.
Trying to get more content out there to y'all. Always
the website.
Always check
out
the
website.
Yeah, blackwealthrenaissance.com. We dropping a blog every week on y'all. So y'all got some fire new content, something to bust your head, get you thinking.
Yeah.
Got the resources, tools, calculators, mortgage calculators, debt to income calculators, all those good things. We got courses from everybody from mobile home investing to how to use OPM to invest to starting your own business up. Yeah, we got it. There's a lot of different courses, resources. That's what we try to aim to provide on the Black Wealth Renaissance.
Well, we also got the podcast directory too. If y'all want to listen to podcasts that are more like ours,
Yeah.
you can go to our website and click the podcast tab. You can find some stuff like that.
Other dope black podcasters out there.
Realtor directory. We got the realtors that you can go if you're trying to purchase some real estate, or if you're just trying to learn a little bit more about the real estate in your area. You can go to the realtor directory. We got
CPA directory on the way.
Yep. So we just got a lot of stuff coming for you guys on the website, content. Also Patreon. Y'all follow the Patreon. What is it again, Kelly? Plug it in.
Patreon.com/THEBWR. Patreon.com/.
Just $1 a month.
That's all.
$1 a month. It helps us
We ain't
go
trying to
out
break your pockets.
to other people's cities, do a lot of different things, and we giving extra content, extended dialogue with the BWR crew. There's just a lot of different packages offered. I mean, it starts at $1. We offer several other packages, but if you like to support and would like to see us get into more people's cities and try to help not only just the platform grow, but
the community,
help the community grow, because we really want to make these real connections in everybody's community, not just on social media. Last thing, I can't let it slip. By the time this comes out, we needed to have talked about this already. In May of 2020, we are going to partner with a lot of other people, and we are doing something major for the culture. We are hosting the Black Investors Summit
in DC,
in Washington, DC, end of April, beginning of May.
Yeah.
More details coming soon.
It's about to be made.
Just look out for the pre-sale tickets. This is something y'all don't want to miss. This gonna be crazy.
This shit lit. That's all I was.
This gonna be amazing. Like, just wait on it. We y'all know we for the culture.
God damn it. On that note, this Black Wealth Renaissance signing out.
Peace.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal. With your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Available now in a biome near you. Oh, and at your local McDonald's. At participating McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.